issues among expat communities in Barcelona is finding accommodation. Even among the locals, some locals also do find it difficult to find an accommodation here. Well, it's understandable. It's a beautiful city. Everybody wants to be here. It's crowded. So it's very reasonable that supply is not being able to meet demand. Now, there is the internet that is supposed to help us, but it doesn't seem to be so fruitful. A lot of scams going on. Sometimes you even receive emails from a known person trying to tell you they have accommodations here in Barcelona or Madrid, and hence you should send them a deposit and they will send you a key. I mean, this will be very stupid for anyone to do. You have to see it before you pay for it. Once upon a time, almost 2 years ago, I was in the same shoes and it wasn't fun at all. It wasn't enjoyable. Mind you, I was only 5 months old in Barcelona, and Spain happens to be my first country to live in from my country. So it was a bit difficult for me. I didn't have command over the language, which is scary up to date, even though I do speak, but it's still scary when you cannot speak a language and you're living in that community. So I was sick and tired of the internet. It wasn't giving me anything fruitful. I've made numerous calls to agents, to apartment owners, and sometimes you get there only to see a different apartment from what you saw on the internet. I was so frustrated and I needed that apartment as soon as possible because I had already informed my flatmate I was getting out the next month, and they were already looking for somebody to occupy the space, so I needed to be out of that apartment at that given period of time. It took me 3 months scouting online for an apartment. I've been to places and it just didn't help. So finally, in my deep thought, I came up with an idea, a method that I usually use or is commonly used in Ghana where I'm coming from. So I will share that method with you. Now, before we quickly get down to the story, I want to give you some few tips on this. Tip number 1, you should decide on where you want to live. If you don't know much about Barcelona and the best areas to live in, do ask your colleagues, friends, and you can make research on the internet. If you're part of any group on Facebook, do ask them. I highly recommend Barcelona Expat Group on Facebook. They're the best and very helpful. Number 2, get to the area and get to know who your neighbors are. Me, for instance, I had always wanted to live among the locals because I want to polish my Spanish. I want to get to know a lot about the Spanish culture. So I find a place that really had a lot of locals. And also, I've always wanted to be on the Metro Red Line because it leads you directly to Catalonia and other major cities. I've lived in other 2 places in Barcelona and they had a blue, green and yellow line. They all didn't help me. I need to do transit. Anytime I'm going out to places, best metro line for me is the red line because it goes to the major, it works within the major cities in Barcelona as much as it's within zone 1. Tip number 3, find at least 3 estate agencies within the vicinities that you want to live in. Consult them and give them detailed information about what kind of apartments you're looking for. Be very specific. This will be very easy for you and for the estate agents to get you an apartment. Number 4, if they give you a call that they found you a property, try to see the property and examine it before any other thing. If they do not give you a call, try to stay in contact with them. We are in Spain. Like, people tell you they are gonna call you and their calls never come, and it's not like they don't have interest in it. That is just how they go. So be the one putting pressure on them if you are very serious about the apartment. Now the next tip is, as soon as you are very sure of this apartment that you want it, make a deposit. That will be the agent fee that you're supposed to pay. Pay that and make sure that you get a very legal receipt. make sure you get a very legal receipt. Make sure the payment is being made in the office of this estate agency, please. Assist. On the day of signing the contract, make sure you are being accompanied by somebody who can speak, understand, write Spanish and Catalan, or Spanish at least. This will help you understand the content of your contract and also to understand the rules and the regulation and what you are penning your signature for. If you do not understand it, please do not sign. You will just involve yourself into trouble. Make sure the contract is also signed by you, the owner of the apartment, or a legal representative of the apartment, and the estate agent. And do not meet in a coffee shop or a restaurant. Come on. This should be in the office of the estate agency. Please. I know a lot of people have been due because they met the agents somewhere. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't make sense in any country or in any case to me. Make sure you sign the contract with the landlord or representative, a legal representative of the landlord or the owner, the estate agent who is representing the estate agency, you, and then the witness. And the witness, it would be good if it's somebody who understands Spanish or Catalan, in case your Spanish is as bad as mine was at the time I was signing the contract. This is the day that you make deposit payment, rental payment per month or per year according to the agreement between you and the renters. My agreement was a yearly base because I didn't have a contract. That is the law in Spain. If you don't have a working contract, nobody wants to rent for you. So the only way you can convince them to rent for you if you pay for 6 months or 1 year. Unfortunately, mine was 1 year, so I paid 1 year. Now, normally if you have a job contract it should be per month. The next tip is make sure that the landlord, the owner, or the representative takes you to the apartment with the keys given to you, and both of you witness the contents of this apartment. After that, or in either case, you should be able to make videos or take pictures of everything that is in the apartment. Now, the next tip is make sure you put pressure on the owner, the landlord, or the estate agency to repair any damaged stuff that they are supposed to repair, like the tap, lights, the bathroom, whatever is supposed to be repaired. Make sure they repair it within the first and second week of your relocation or moving into that apartment. Make sure you put pressure on them to do it. The later, the worse. They might not even do it at all. So if you really want to enjoy your new apartment and have some peace, make sure you put pressure on them within the first and second week. Finally, the next tip is take a rest. Take a rest. It's been a tough hassle getting yourself an apartment. Please relax. Organize some party and invite me. That was just a joke, but I will come anyway if you invite me. Now let's go down to my story of how I finally decided I have to live alone. So getting to Barcelona, smelling the fresh air, the people, the food and everything, I fell in love and I decided to stay. But there was a huge problem, and the problem was my rent. It was so expensive. I was paying 800 euros for that apartment. Yes, I know you are surprised. It's stupid paying 800 for that, right? But listen to the story. Since I needed a visa from my country before coming to Spain, and proof of accommodation is one of the requirements, I needed to get an accommodation through the school that admitted me in Spain. So I got this accommodation from them, and they were making 100% profit from the owners of this accommodation. It was almost a student hostel, a host family, but they had a whole apartment for us, the students, and they were living in a different apartment. And I was supposed to be paying like between 200 to 300 euros for that apartment, but the school was charging me 800 euros. Cool, right? Cool. Know that this is how much I was supposed to pay, and the amount I paid, I decided to pay directly to the landlady because that would be breach of contract between her and the school. So I have to get my ass out of that apartment, which was sad because I love the environment. I was 2 minutes away from the beach, but I didn't have a choice. So I started looking for an apartment online. It was really, really, really difficult. It took me like 2 months in a whole to find an apartment. I was really happy that I found an apartment, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best in my case, for the fact that I had to transit before getting to school. And 2, I didn't like the area. And 3, because my room wasn't really a room. It was just a division of the sitting room, and then they created another room. So everything that my colleagues or my flatmates do in the living room, it's as if they are in my room, the noise and everything. And that wasn't so good. I wasn't happy, but I needed an apartment, so I accepted it. Some few months later, it wasn't so good. It's fantastic living with other people or sharing apartment with other people, but it also has its disadvantages like dirtiness. We eat and nobody knows who is supposed to wash, and somebody gets angry and somebody doesn't want to be cleaning the house all the time. Somebody is mercy and somebody is not. Somebody's bringing in friends and they are messing things up and nobody's cleaning it. Somebody's eating your food, somebody's taking something from it and not replacing it, and so on and so on. The list go on and on and on. So finally, I decided to get an apartment for myself, by myself. What do? The only method that we all know is the internet. So I follow on the internet once again, looking for an apartment, not to share with anybody, but just to be in by myself. I spent 3 months looking for this apartment. I found a lot. I will go to them and they are very different from what I saw online. Sometimes they don't want to rent for you when they realize you're not Spanish, or they just don't want to rent for you because you don't have a job contract, and it goes on and on and on. Sometimes they never return your calls. Sometimes they just toy with you, play with you around. You keep calling them and they keep saying, oh, call at this time, this person's gonna call you, okay, you should come to the office at this time and we'll go and see the apartment. Waste of time. It was a total bullshit. So finally, I decided to use the method that we use in Ghana, and by using this method, you could even get to rent the apartment if you are lucky from the owner. So you save yourself the agent fee. I decided to implement that method. Since I was okay with the red line, I checked all the cities on the red line. The place I went to is Saint Andrew. I went to Saint Andrew. I took a walk and I love the environment and everything, and it was also a bit closer to town. It was like 15 minutes by metro to Catalonia. So I decided, woo, that was great. I went to the agents and told them what I wanted, and they all said they didn't have anything. I left my contact number and asked them to call me in case there is anything like the description I gave them. They never called. I called and I wasn't getting better result. The next place I thought about was Fundo. It's also on the red line and it's the last metro stop on the red line. I went there and I didn't like it. It's a very beautiful place, but there were a lot of expats than locals. A lot. I mean, a lot of foreigners. So I didn't want to be among that environment. I want to be in a mixture of locals and a little expats, so that I could polish my Spanish. I could know a lot about the Spanish culture. That is the main reason that brought me here. That is the main reason that brought me to Spain, to just learn the language. So I wasn't going to be in an environment where it's not going to help me achieve my aim. So I was up. I don't like that. Then